So we have to. How are we going to get there? They used to say, spray rock dust. If everybody stopped, uh, gosh, I mean, this is a bold statement, but we have about 60 years left um, on the planet if we don't change our farming practices, and if we don't stop chopping down the trees, the Amazon and so on. Um, uh, it's so if there's any validity to that, we need to be looking at regenerating the soil. And that book that I was just referred to, it talked about spraying rock dust. It's got all the certain kind of rock dust. It's got all the minerals, and to neutralize all of the toxicity and then start correcting our farming practices.
Yes, no doubt. As we make the transition here and we're living at our highest excitement, the planet, our dualistic planet will be sliding away all the time now. And so as you work more with your planet, as you say, and not live in fear, that new reality is appearing for more and more people all the time. And so, yeah, that's correct. If you want to initiate it, with working with that element, it does support it that intention here, because we need intrinsics to implement our intentions, because we don't have a lot of energy here, so to speak, is an outstanding way to revitalize forests and or maybe just go out and plant a couple trees. It is one of the biggest shocks here. I can say that the last implant that was removed for me, that was a tough month to see the destruction of this planet, to see what the great wars have done to many of the continents. And I'm still stifled that we would mass produce living beings to build homes that only last under a decade, when we have all this natural minerals and stone here. I contradict myself in a wood home right now, and so I wonder when we will start initiating planetary construction methodologies that have to do with the base of our construct and or our crystalline planet. I would suggest looking at the pyramids. They're still level.
Well, what do you mean they're still level?
Nobody's noticing that if you go to Chichen Itza or any of these other great history markers for us. Tell me how you can't build a high rise in plum, but the Great Pyramids are still plum. They're still level.
Oh, the pyramids, they're fascinating. Yeah. That's the fascinating.
So again, it is my great passion as I start getting more and more involved in the intrinsic initiations of what I assume will be great projects as we go forward here in our state of Jubilee is let's get some better fundamentals for constructions that are sustainable, and let's make sure our kids get them, not the banks.
Yeah, no, I totally, absolutely agree. It's a passion of mine, is the pyramids, and start growing hemp, I guess, and figure out a way to make beams, to support beams to put these pyramids up, and then we can stop cutting down the trees.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody to just really start supporting your archaeologists, especially the little guys, because they don't have the luxury of toiling with the governments, but they are finding a lot of great tools for our history. Most of our governments, not all, are doing a good job of hiding the natural history of the evolution of humanity for thousands and thousands, and not just one century, like many. And the reason they're hiding it from you is the information is very tough to transfer concurrently with what everyone's been taught the last 100 years. So they don't. I've said in other shows, when you find artifact with a spaceship befriending a human, and it's not one, it's 1,000 of them. It's a tough topic to explain because you have competition with the aliens that are here. They can instantly pretend to be your saviors and your false gods. So this war is a little bit bigger than just AI, of course. There is an opportunity for some of these aliens to pretend to be a light being, a being that has major capabilities, and they can trick us instantly. And so playing our cards on how we educate people is their real tough one for certainly Egypt, China, and Mexico. Those days are coming to an end because you have all your capabilities back right now. And here's one way to start looking at artifacts and checking, get a history book maybe with the kids, what have you, get a workbook, and look at the great pyramids in Egypt, possibly, or others, and ask yourself out loud, Spirit, are these pyramids machines? And see what your heart tells you. And what you'll get is the heart will give you massive imagery of how those machines were utilized, where the power switch is. I'll assume Zora has probably already educated people. It's under the Sphinx. It's right. It's a very big switch. And of course, that would end your industrial development of your planet instantly if you did turn them on, and others. And if you understood how deep the oceans and how big the oceans really were. And so there's a lot of opportunities here in the following days that how do we educate an entire planet, combat the control of the education of the entire planet, keep people not knowing their God consciousness, and being benevolent at the same time so we can survive with them the next ascension cycle.
Well, that is the question.
How do we get them to come back? Sell them another car, please. They got to come back.
That's the question of all questions. And
but the beauty of it for all the homeschoolers, for me at least, is all the clues are here now. And when you have the kids getting comfortable using their heart to smell out BS, it's really fun. So everywhere you go with your kids, get a logbook. Even if they're giving you some guff, just write stuff down as they observe it without telling them to observe something. And it is beautiful how they already can discern information, process information. And again, I expect a lot of these little guys, little gals, are probably going to be our teachers for adults, is my assertion now.
Well, I certainly think, like, the toddlers, and, I imagine we were all like that way too when we were toddlers, but there was no doubt. Everything was just happy. Everything was at peace. Everything is just fine. And the 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds, they somehow, even with all the stuff that they're being exposed to, they seem to stay in that high vibration. And that's a beautiful thing to see. And hopefully we can, there'll be more of it. What I mean by that is, even the, they're exposed to some of the sketchy food items, and they're, being bombarded with the 5Gs and all that kind of stuff. They still seem to maintain their physical, their emotional, their mental, and their spiritual. They keep in that happy and always laughing and always forgiving kind of a frame of being. That's what I'm experiencing. That's what I'm noticing anyways. Now, having said that, yes, there is, and there definitely is, situations where there is, abuse happening. And unfortunately, those children are, going through some unfortunate difficulties. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's tough. Being unaware of it is good too. And so some of the propaganda is very difficult to get information now. Is one of the reasons for the topic today. Is so one of the reasons we don't show my face is they can instantly, and many of the rest of us within the silos of teams, you don't show our face because that's propaganda for you to believe in some kind of discredited or positive. So as an example, Stan, if we had your picture up right now, they could have you kicking puppies tomorrow, no problem. Stan's a puppy kicker, Okay, so the cutting and pasting of your stories now is so prolific because you don't have a way to sustain the historian in real time with the publication. You can try and you can upload them to your personal devices, but I assure you over time, there are technologies to cut and paste your private hard drives. And so it's really, my suggestion is to stop using our technology as our basis for learning. And my suggestion would be the expression and experience is our new learning system. And that goes for survival in our societies, in our communities. The more we support each other in this, whether it's micro communities or what have you, the experience is our dedicated learning tool, not anything outside of ourselves. So many people say, "What book authors do you recommend?" I say, none. They're not from me. They're not from. So you're the librarian, is my opinion. Although obviously there's some people that do write some good books, but I'll assert that we are able to collaborate with each other and give each other knowledge continuously now. So the more you're in a circle of friends, regardless of what you're saying, you're absolutely getting more of your capabilities, tools, knowledge centers back just because of where you're at in the ascension cycle. And it's fabulous to see, and it's a great thrill for me to see this, how many people are now changing, seeing that. And I'll explain some of the symptoms you might be experiencing just so I can help others. Is that okay, Stan?
Yeah, well, you bet.
Have you had ascension symptoms through the years?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's been times where I've been just about vibrating out of my body. When I do the commands in the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I think the two of them together are so powerful. But I use the Wim Hof breathing. You take 30 deep breaths and then blow it all out on your last one, and then hold. I started out at 1 minute. Now I'm up past 2 minutes, and I've been doing that for months. But when you have that breathing, do the breathing before and after the commands. Oh my goodness! Sometimes I just about vibrate right out of my body.
Yeah.
Is that what happens when I haven't done this ascension thing before, but is that what ascension might be? You start vibrating higher and higher and higher and faster?
Yeah, that's an outstanding overview. A lot of the folks teaching multiple modalities in dojos and so forth, that's one of the things they I believe are required to teach you is how to stay in your body, because many of the motions and flows release all of that tension that comes from thought. And certainly it gets tricky to stay inside the body. And that is a classic symptom that most people are probably seeing more and more as they come in and out of their sleep state. And what's fun and needed to be more aware of, in my opinion, we start with the kids to let them know that all their dreams are real. And then, of course, the first thing the moms are doing is is throwing the shoe at the computer at me now because you don't want them to acknowledge that they're having a bad dream. And I say that, no, you do, because you want them talking about it. So most of the AI and most of the aliens are counting on this etheric realm right before you get in the body and then when you leave. And that's why I'll probably do an entire couple hours on just the etheric alone. And so they're counting on us to make that transition in and out of the body, and then participating with us through our dream state, not knowing we're still in our body and or in the beyond-o, etheric, whatever you want to call it, in that transition time. And so what's fun for me is the more you acknowledge that you're coming and going in your body, well, that's actually the same tool when you're in reality here, but you've been programmed, for lack of a better definition, to think through life instead of feel through life, which makes that dream state appear instantly. So I would encourage everybody to remove the word manifest and replace it with creativity. I'm creating, and now I am experiencing it. That's the sequence of events I feel we could help with this next round of children, is start them out with, your dreams are all real. Do you want to talk about them? Give them an avenue to talk about them. And what you're going to find, for most parents, is they've met a buddy when they went dreaming and daydreaming and so forth, and then we're calling it their spirit friend. Well, not all spirit friends are spirit friends. So just FYI. And you'll see a pattern of how we dabble in the etheric consistently day in and day out and don't even know it. Because our dream state is only recognized when we sleep, but you're actually dreaming right now. Everything you're doing is a dream right now. Mm-hmm. And you're initiating it through a physical body. And so the more we talk about this and relate it to ascension symptoms, you're going to see it's actually the solution are the symptoms, because you're at a higher level of existence, per se, observed in a physical body. So when you go to step on that first step going upstairs and it doesn't exist, that's because you were in a state of peace and didn't process to make yourself a step. Very fascinating. So you're actually making the step in real time. That's how fast of a creator you are. And when you're having symptoms and are at a higher vibration, you can leave. You can create another reality. Your room will change shape. There's many people who now can move furniture, lift a ball that's across the room, envision the neighbor coming over to borrow a cup of sugar, etc. That should be very common for a lot of folks now in their intimate relationships, finishing people's sentences, vice versa. If you're not experiencing this sequence of events through inspiration, if you're not having a sequence of events that flows like that, that's how you know you're using your brain. You're negatively reacting to situations instead of proactively creating them. So that's my great passion, is to share the difference with folks. And the more that you recognize it, the more it will come commonplace. And again, my goal here is for everyone to have a beautiful, beautiful, incredible life.
Yeah, I think that's what else is there? Well, what's the alternative? I'm with you. What is the alternative? And so I think we just need to keep focused and keep working on it. And because what is the alternative? It's not a happy place.
Yeah. So anyway, our heart, it gets tiring even for me to talk about it. We don't have a tool book here except the one that was given to us, and that is our compass in our heart. And the more you do it, the more your reality changes to whatever you want, even in these bodies, even this type of body. But I want to make you aware that the people of America, you really need to start digging in now. And if you had a lot of chances here, and The old ways aren't going to work for you anymore. You got to really start doing your work now. And the reason for that is because it's go time. Again, I do not want to sound redundant and repetitive, but the systems you've inherited to do day in and day out business and commerce are the weapon against you. This very computer is watching everything you do, and it has a plan, and that plan is falling into place very, very quickly. And so I'm not going to speak about other countries because some of them are aware of it and are doing something about it. America, you've got to get her going. You've had many chances now. You have an opportunity to keep looking at these machines and waiting for the white horse to come in. But your systems have failed you. Your courts have failed you. Your entire infrastructure has failed you. No one's going to help you, folks. You got to get up and do something. It's my encouragement for you all.